Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's David Webb.
I'm Arielle Edwards.
We get nerdy nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
Yeah. That is right. Welcome back to another edition of the Nightly Morning Show. It is Thursday, November 19th?
Yes.
2020. And we are on this couch once more.
Yeah. Honestly, it feels like home. This is like, oh yes, it's the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is right. You know, it's our routine now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, yep, here we are. This is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because we kind of came up with this idea to do the morning show. And we, that was 5 weeks ago now? And very quickly we were like, all right, we'll just reorganize our entire lives and schedules to fit this idea that we had.
Yeah.
And it's working out, but it really has taken over so much of our life. For
sure. We talked about the routine of it. You know, there's a thing that we get up now, like Monday to Friday, that like jumpstarts our day. But we're right now looking for jobs and stuff, and we need to make sure that we can like work everything else in our life around our morning show schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, you know, it's not like easy, but
no,
like
it's
not. But this is our priority, and we enjoy being here.
My mom, we are looking for, real jobs because we're doing well on streaming, but we're certainly not, full-time streamers yet. Mm-hmm. And the pandemic makes everything harder. But my mom reached out and was like, "Hey, my friend has a lead on a security job. It was like 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I was like, "Mom, even if I didn't have the morning show,
yeah,
you've met me because you raised me. You know that I'm not going to be awake at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's just not the kind of human that I am."
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. And here's the thing. There are people who can do that. And, all power to you. Yeah. Like, if you are a morning person, I stand in awe because I don't function before, 11 a.m. It just doesn't happen for me. And, I have mad respect for the people that can get up, every day. I can do that once in a while. Mm-hmm. I've had photo shoots where, I have to get up at 3, 4, or 5 in the morning, whatever it is. But, I could not do that consistently.
If I had to, I could do it. The problem for me is that I'm much better at night, mm-hmm. just in general, that my brain works better. And so, I used to work at a restaurant in New York called Maison Pickle. I don't know if it's open now, but if you are in New York and you want to have a really wonderful French dip, go to Maison Pickle. Great food. Really, really great food. And I kind of became known for closing a lot because the closing shift at that restaurant started at 6 p.m. and mm-hmm. went till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And people are like, "Oh, God, you must get home late all the time." And I'm like, no. I kind of get home when I want to get home. I'm fine to go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. And granted, working in restaurants, you get really used to that. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't do mornings. I'm not. This show, honestly, there was a point where we were talking about starting the show at 9 a.m. instead of 10.
Yeah, that was an idea that we had that we quickly shot down.
I couldn't do it. I literally, when I think about having to wake up an hour earlier than we currently are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a no from me.
And I'm currently considering waking up a half hour earlier to try and do yoga before the show.
Yeah, me too. I want to get a walk in before or just get active, and that alarm goes off and I'm like, it doesn't matter when I go to bed. Even we've had early mornings or, mm-hmm. or early evenings where we get into bed at 11:30. And so I still get that full 8 hours and I still just don't.
You have a hard time waking up though.
Yeah, I don't wake up. David is either asleep or awake. There's no groggy in between. It takes me a while to actually wake up. I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't function. Yeah,
there's a point there. Because there's that joke about men that as we age, it's not really a joke. It's kind of a real thing. But as men age, they get up in the middle of the night to pee a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really scared of that because I don't go back to sleep. Like once I'm awake, I'm up and I'm up until nighttime again. Like I don't nap. I don't sleep I can't sleep in the middle of the day. I can't sleep on planes, trains, or automobiles. Like I can't sleep in public in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I have a talent where I can fall asleep anywhere.
Yeah, truly anywhere. And so it's just this weird. That reminds me. So one of my exes, Katie, who is a wonderful human, and we're still friends, so there's no animosity there. But when we were dating, we went to a Yankees game, and she fell asleep on my shoulder in the middle of a baseball game, and I was sitting there looking at her like, how? Like what? It was like 8:30. The sun was kind of still up. We were in a crowd of like. Do you guys remember being in crowds? We were in a crowd of like 45,000 people, and she was unconscious.
I can understand that for sure. I've literally I've fallen asleep I used to be really, really good at when I would take like the bus to Young Canadians and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My body would know exactly how long I had to sleep before I had to wake up to get off the bus to get onto the next bus.
Wild.
And so I would literally fall asleep and then I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, my stop is in 3 stops. Okay, perfect.
Hero of Wind in the chat says, I find it easier to sleep in crowded places. That sounds dangerous. Like, I'm worried about you. You know what I mean?
Well, I used to fall asleep in the cafeteria at school. Literally.
Jesus Christ. You need someone. You and Miller both need someone. You need a guardian to be with you at all times to make sure that you're not.
We need an adult. Yeah.
Right.
I slept through a tornado once.
Should we talk some news?
Yeah, enough about us and our sleeping habits.
Everyone watching this on YouTube has already clicked off the video. They're like, I'm here for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I just want to know about Wonder Woman, damn it.
All right.
Y'all, I called it.
Yeah, we talked about this on the show.
Yeah, but I also called it...
What's Wonder Woman gonna do?
I called it so hard, y'all, last week on the show when I said that Wonder Woman should do a joint release of HBO Max and theaters.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're doing. December 25th, 2020. You can watch it in the United States. And we're going to talk about other areas first, but we're going to start with the States, and then we'll move around the world as we talk about where this movie's releasing. But in the United States, on December 25th, for those of you who are in the chat, you probably know that's Christmas. I don't know why I made that weird. On Christmas Day, you can go see Wonder Woman in theaters, or you can boot up HBO Max and you can join that service and watch the movie there. Unlike Mulan on Disney Plus, there will be no extra charge for Wonder Woman. It will be free to all people who already subscribe to HBO Max. So it's not free, but you understand what I'm saying. You're all smart, intelligent, lovely, beautiful, sexy humans who I adore.
Yeah.
And you can also see it in theaters. What do you think of this decision?
Honestly, I'm not surprised. When you said, a joint release, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Because when we were like, okay, what if Wonder Woman comes out on HBO Max? I was like, okay, well, HBO Max isn't everywhere. Mm-hmm. They are losing out on a large percentage of the worldly population if they can't distribute this movie everywhere.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense for that joint release. People who have movie theaters open can go see it. I think it looks like we're gonna be here, just the two of us, for Christmas. Mm-hmm. So we might try to. I don't know if theaters are gonna be open in Toronto. But we're gonna be taking Christmas pretty easy.
We'll drive to Winnipeg to watch Wonder Woman.
Okay, maybe not Winnipeg.
Montreal's closer.
Montreal, I think, is 5 hours by train.
Let's go to Montreal for Christmas.
Whoa. Okay.
We'll do the morning show in French. Bonjour, je m'appelle David.
Same.
Your name is also David?
Yeah. That sounds like my worst nightmare. We are planning on actually doing a Christmas show.
We are planning on doing, I guess this is an announcement, because we haven't really said this, but because we're going to be stuck in Toronto for Christmas, we are planning on actually streaming Christmas Day. And we're going to do a nerdy nightly morning Christmas show.
Yeah.
And the goal Actually, no, I'm going to keep that a secret. But we're going to try and make it fun. Tuned. And we're going to try and, for everyone else who cannot go home for Christmas, we are going to be doing a show here for you. And for anyone who needs a place to hang out on Christmas Day, we're going to try and make this a place where you can do that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. I have some ideas. I have some plans. I've got some people I need to contact to see if they'll help me out with it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be...
We got plans.
Yeah. There's going to be games. There's going to be guests. The guests will probably be pre-taped because it's Christmas and they have families, but sure. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So going back to Wonder Woman though, the Wonder Woman 1984 release is happening on December 25th in the US.
Yes.
Internationally, the movie is actually going to be coming out December 16th.
Yeah, which is a full week earlier.
It's 9 days earlier.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating to me. There will be, so if you are internationally, you will be able to see this movie earlier. However, internationally, you will only be able to see it in theaters. There will not be any streaming options for you. There is no word yet on how this affects Canada. And if you're like, wait, why do you care so much about Canada? We're Canadian.
We're in Canada.
Can you not see the shirt she's wearing? We're clearly Canadian.
Called out.
So I'm curious to see if there's going to be a streaming option in Canada. Because in the United States, HBO Max isn't in Canada yet. But as far as box office goes, we are typically considered part of the United States. I know I talked about this yesterday when we were talking about the Universal Cinemark deal.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to affect how we are going to be able to watch it. Mm-hmm. Because if movie theaters in Canada are closed because of COVID, there may not be a legitimate way for Canadians to watch Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Well, that sucks. So okay. If there are places in the United States where theaters are open, is it going to be released in theaters?
Yes.
So wouldn't then the same thing apply to Canada?
Yes. Okay. But if theaters aren't open here...
Yeah, but I mean...
The thing is, okay, so here's the thing about the United States, right? So, New York City movie theaters are not open yet. Everyone in New York City has the option to watch Wonder Woman 84. Granted, those theaters might be open by Christmas. We don't know yet. It's 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
I doubt it. But the way things are going, I doubt it. But everyone in New York City has the option to watch Wonder Woman on HBO Max. Mm-hmm. Because HBO Max is an option there.
Yeah.
And if we lived in the States, we would probably have HBO Max. Because, I love DC content. I have a problem. And so, if we were living in New York, or say you were in Idaho and the movie theater near you is closed right now because of COVID, because maybe you live in a town that only has a Regal cinema and all the Regal cinemas are closed.
Yeah.
You have the option to watch on HBO Max.
Yeah.
In Canada, unless they release it on Crave, which is how you can stream HBO in Canada, because there's no HBO Max, HBO Now, HBO Go, none of that here. If they don't release Wonder Woman on Crave for Canadians, and the movie theaters in your area are closed, there is legitimately not a way for you as a Canadian to watch this movie.
Yeah, that's true. That sucks.
Right, and look, I'm not complaining because I want to be very clear. They have not announced those plans yet, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm upset with Warner Brothers about this because we just don't have the answer yet. But I will be disappointed if I have to wait until DVDs or streaming comes out next year to watch the movie.
Yeah.
I just will. And it's not the end of the world. Honestly, I would rather not see the movie this year than have movie theaters open if they are not safe for pandemic reasons.
Yeah.
Del Pickle in the chat is saying, what if I screen record the full movie for you guys and send the video to you? Please do not do that.
We don't.
We want to have, as the company that we are, we want to have a good relationship with these companies and do not want to be involved in any lawsuits that would affect us getting screeners in the future.
Yeah, no, that appreciate it.
Wait, maybe the movie gets nominated for SAG Awards. If the acting in it is good enough, maybe the movie will get nominated for SAG Awards and I will get sent copies. Because we're going to get screener copies sent to us.
Right, that's a thing that you
Right,
do.
So Wonder Woman, please be good enough that they go for it to try and win a SAG Award so that I can have a free copy of the movie.
I feel like most people in the chat have no idea what you're talking about.
So I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Union. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know what I mean by screeners, thank you for that shit, for the Empire.
Cheers.
For the SAG Awards every year, which are one of the acting awards that lead up to the Oscars, They're their own awards and they don't lead up to the Oscars, but come on. We all understand how award season works.
Yeah.
There's 2 rounds of screeners that get sent out. Screeners are copies of movies that are imprinted with your personal code. So, like, my number appears on screen throughout the movie so that if I were to put it up online, they would know. They're like, well, clearly David Webb put that up line.
Yeah.
There's a nominating committee, which is, I think, 2,500 members of SAG. And then they get every movie that comes out. It's wild. I was on the nominating committee for the movie side of the nominating committee like 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think I received 78 DVDs in 6 weeks. And then the movies that get nominated for SAG Awards get sent out to every single member of SAG and of SAG-AFTRA rather, and we all vote. And the SAG-AFTRA awards are actually voted on by fellow actors. Mm-hmm. It's a really fun process. Actors are all spend most of January talking about screeners and whatnot and getting to vote, and it's really I love it, and it's a community thing that I'm really grateful that we've kept up.
Yeah.
Now a lot of them are digital. We don't get as many DVDs as we used to. We generally get codes to watch things online. Mm-hmm. For movies and television shows. It's great. I love it. It's like one of those cool perks to being in the union.
Totally.
So if Wonder Woman is up for SAG Awards, I probably will get a digital code. I doubt they'll send DVDs, but
that makes sense. Here's my thing, like, as much as it would be awesome if that happened, but also I would love, because we're not seeing anybody for Christmas. I would love for Christmas Day for us to be able to go out and see a movie.
Yep.
And it's tough because we don't know what's going to be open and what's going to be safe.
Preferably, we'd be able to go see it the night before, and
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, because if it comes out on Christmas Day, it'll be
then
up.
Then it'll be like a 10 p.m. showing.
Yeah. So we would be able to watch it, and then we'd be able to talk about it the next day.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Just actually. For Nerdy Nightly,
Yeah.
Being able to talk about things, it's kind of our whole. We need it.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing that we do.
Can people please give us news? But also, hey, companies, could you give us news that isn't controversial so we don't have to, talk about your dang tweets?
Yeah. Yeah, I just, I don't want to talk about the drama.
Mm-hmm.
I want the facts, the cold, hard facts.
I want those cold, hard facts. Suddenly the screen goes black and white. We're both smoking all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I don't want no drama, kid.
One eye covered with, a hat,
What?
What? We were going moody, and I went, real moody.
I know, but how do you cover one eye with a hat?
You got, a bowl that's, tilted, It's like this.
Mm-hmm.
You, can kind of, see just, yeah. Mm-hmm. I can see it in my
Wonderful.
head, and it works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously we hope to see Wonder Woman 84. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised to see this move by the company. Yeah. In fact, last week I said that this was going to happen, and I feel really smart. I feel big brain right now, y'all. I need that brain. Fanta big brain emote, but, my face.
I can't say I'm really surprised.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. I'm kind of glad that they're not just pushing back till the summer, because that would be rough.
Here's the question that we probably should be asking though. How does this affect movie theater companies long term? Because here's the thing. So we talked yesterday about the Universal and Cinemark deal that shortened the video window. And part of that deal was that Cinemark was going to get a cut, the same way that AMC is, of Universal's premium video on demand releases in order to help bolster the movie theater business.
Yeah.
There is no way, there's no way that there is any agreement in place for movie theaters to get a cut of HBO Max. That doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen. So, is this a one-time deal that movie theaters are allowing to happen? Mm-hmm. And there is no leeway on future releases? Because if there's leeway on future releases, this is bad for movie theaters. Yeah. Is this a one-time deal in which they have paid the movie theaters a significant sum? Is there anything like that? Would Cinemark even be allowed to participate in that because they've closed all the Regal cinemas and those cinemas will not be open on Christmas Day anyway? Yeah. It really is interesting what It really is. Actually, Richard Sim in the chat, Richard Sim 7 just posted, long term is movie companies are going to buy cinemas. They'll become Disney cinemas, etc. Richard Sim, that is actually illegal in the United States.
For now.
So the way that things used to be in the Hollywood system is that the distributors owned the movie theaters as well, and they would distribute their movies in their own theaters. Because of that, there is actually law that stops that. Amazon is currently fighting that law in court to try and repeal it.
That's what I mean, for now.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to work.
The reason, that I kind of sweat a little bit is because it's Amazon. They are a big company with a lot of money and influence, and they can really push for this if they want.
Yeah, the problem with that is Amazon doesn't put out the kinds of movies that could sustain a movie theater.
Yeah.
So, they would have to put out other people's movies.
What if they did TV shows in theaters?
What do you mean?
You have a weekly release, and each week is that episode of that show. And so you find a time
Oh, so you could go watch Mandalorian in theaters?
Yeah. If you can't go on the Friday, it's there for the full week until the next episode comes out.
I think you could only do it in big cities.
Yeah. I don't think
you wouldn't get enough
happen.
of a draw in other markets. I think that in New York you could have that. In LA you definitely could have that.
Yeah.
And it would only work for television shows that are shot cinematically.
Mandalorian. For sure.
If you tried to be the new episode of Grey's Anatomy, I'd be I do not want to watch that any larger than a television screen.
Yeah.
And nothing against Grey's Anatomy, but the way that it is shot is not. They shoot it for television. It's impeccably made television. I love Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
It's just
It's not theatrical in that sense. It's not meant for the big screen.
I would pay money to watch. There's a sequence in the first episode of this season of Mandalorian where the ratio changes. The actual visual ratio changes because the big action sequence is shot by IMAX cameras.
Yeah.
And I would pay to see that.
Oh yeah,
in theaters.
Yeah, that would be cool.
We have a lot of people talking about drive-in theaters. Have you ever been to a drive-in? They're rare in Canada because it gets very cold.
Yeah, they are rare here. I don't think I've ever gone to see a movie at a drive-in. Although some of our regulars, they may be here, they may not be, but Robertson Hatton is Ryan and Jess. Yep. And they actually, they tried to go see a drive-in several weeks ago, probably months ago now. And they had a really hard time with this drive-in movie because, what was it exactly? It was something to do with the fact that they didn't want to keep the car running, I believe. And so it would turn off every few minutes and they would lose the sound. They were trying to go see Tenet. They went to the drive-in theater to see Tenet, and they couldn't leave the car running, so they wouldn't get the sound, and then it would turn off. And then when their car would turn off, they would have to start it up again, and the headlights would go on, and then the person in front of them was getting very upset. And so they left.
So this is a problem. This is a modern problem for drive-ins because it used to be that your radio would stay on.
Yeah. After
you turned the car off.
Yeah.
And we stopped that, obviously, because of it kills your battery.
Yeah.
The problem is that now, the best way to do drive-in now, honestly, is to get a little FM radio, bring it with you, and put it in the car with you.
Yeah.
And use that for the sound instead of your actual car. Yeah, Sex Monkey in the chat is saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I love that we are just casually referring to Sex Monkey in our morning show. Kelly and Ryan don't do stuff like this. They're not zany like us. I want to start a feud with Kelly and Ryan.
Oh my god.
I want our morning show and their morning show to have a feud that they don't know about. They're completely unaware of the fact.
They just don't know.
That we're in a fight.
That's amazing.
Ryan Seacrest. Can you grow a mustache like this, Ryan Seacrest? I don't think so. Come on the show Probably and fight not. Me.
She says, all right. Throwing down the gauntlet. Okay.
But But yeah, so if you're going to go to the drive-in and you have a modern car, do know that you have to turn your car on like every 10 minutes in order to keep your radio going, which isn't great for your car. And is really annoying for everyone around you. Yeah. So bring your own radio, or
apparently there's a phone app.
Check your drive-in. There are phone. Yeah, the iPhone has a radio too. Yeah. But then you have to use your iPhone speakers. So then you still have to bring a separate set of speakers anyway.
Yeah, it'd be pretty quiet.
Yeah, and you just want to have a great like movie sound. You want like a nice FM radio.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also check to see if your local drive-in has the cans that you hang on the door. Because those speakers are pretty great and they're pretty reliable, and you do have to leave your window rolled down for them to work. Yeah. So be careful about that if it's going to be windy or cold or raining.
Yeah. Which is the big problem in Canada for drive-ins.
Especially now, like it's too late in the year for drive-ins. It'd be freezing.
Yeah.
But drive-in theaters are great. The last thing I saw in drive-ins was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Hercules as a double feature.
Nice.
And oh boy, do I wish Guardians of the Galaxy came second, because Hercules was bad. It was also, the drive-in was laid out so that there were two screens like this, and then the cars faced this way. So like you were either watching this movie or you were watching this movie, but they were different movies. And if you were in the back row, which we were, we could hear everything that was going on in the movie behind us.
Oh, hell no. I could not do that.
Yeah. It was awful.
Yeah, that would be a no for me. And here's the thing. I love the idea of drive-in theaters.
Yeah.
I do. They don't really work in Canada for a lot of the year, unfortunately. Yeah. And, you know, there are also things like this that can make it, can really, like, mar the experience.
I think they are better for a movie that you've already seen for the social atmosphere. I think that if it's like a movie that you're really excited about, that you're really invested in, it can be tough. It can be a tough first viewing experience.
Yeah. I'm sure in Florida they're fantastic because you know it's warm all year round there, and like that to me totally makes sense. It's tough up here in the Great White North.
Yeah.
It gets cold.
Should we move on to some other news?
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
Y'all, we are getting a new James Bond video game. For those of you who don't know, the greatest video game of all time is Goldfinger. It's actually not, but one of the best N64 titles was James Bond Goldfinger. It is a great video game. It really, honestly, I think it is why James Bond became popular again. GoldenEye, oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, that's a weird name for a video game, but sure.
Wow.
That's live, babe.
I'm never gonna live that down. What is Goldfinger? Is that the Austin Powers one?
Austin Powers?
No, that's Goldmember.
I don't know what Goldfinger is.
Goldfinger is the James Bond movie. Yeah. I'm only slightly losing my mind. Jesus Christ.
All right. I'll forgive it then, because I was like, excuse you.
Goldfinger's great. So GoldenEye, Jesus.
Have some coffee.
I feel like I need to like turn in my credentials, my nerd credentials.
Yeah.
Who do I mail that back to for a refund? So GoldenEye, oh my god. GoldenEye is arguably one of the best video games that came out on the N64. It was definitely a game that me, my brothers, my friends, we spent so many hours in. And we're getting a new James Bond game that will probably not be as good as GoldenEye. But it is going to be made by the same developers of the Hitman franchise. The team's called IO. I think they're just called IO.
It's like IOI. It's
IOI. And it looks like it is going to. They seem to focus more on their like espionage, stealth combat games. And so I'm very excited to see what they do with a franchise like this.
I love how much the chat is trolling you right now.
Oh no, it's Gold Toe. Hero of Wind is right. It's definitely Golden Toe, Golden Fry.
Scanny literally took time off work to type in the chat that he's disappointed in you, and I just want you to know that. Here's the thing.
I'm so upset right now.
I know, I'm sorry. I have never played a James Bond game. I'm only like familiar, and I say familiar, but kind of with the movies. But it definitely, here's the thing. Watching James Bond, I'm like, I can totally see this as a video game. You know what I mean? Like, it 100% has that vibe. So I think they kind of, as long as they give it a good story, I think that people are gonna buy it. That James Bond is it's a household name. Mm-hmm. People know what it is when they pick up that game. They know exactly what they're gonna get into. I think it's a smart. I think it's a smart choice. We're gonna make a video game. Let's do James Bond. People are gonna buy that 100%.
There's another one. I'm trying to find the other James Bond video game that I love. Mm-hmm. I think it might have been Tomorrow Never Dies. So I think it was the Tomorrow Never Dies video game is also really good. Mm-hmm. For the original PlayStation. There are a bunch of James Bond video games. At least you sounded confident. Thank you, Help the Bottom.
Strong and wrong.
If you guys have any other than GoldenEye, if you have any other James Bond video games that you love that you want to throw in the chat, please do, because I would love to hear. Oh my god, we didn't turn on the RGB today. Wow, what a show, y'all.
For shame.
What a show is that's happening right now.
Should I turn on the D20?
I still can't believe I said Goldfinger.
I can.
I'm so upset right now. Yeah, so if there are other...
oh, you can't even really see it anyways. That's fine.
Golden Ankle was a bit of a letdown.
Gold.
Oh, wow. This show went off the rails real quick.
I love it. I'm so happy that happened.
I'm excited to have a new James Bond game. Someone in the chat, I think it might have been Shin, mentioned that IOI is also the bad guy from the bad corporation from Ready Player One, which I did not realize, which is very funny.
Oh, I still have to watch that. I want to see that so bad, and I just have never gotten around to it.
Yeah. You need to read the book first.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, once I get my stuff from the surgery, I'll give you the book Ready Player One, and then you can read that, and then we'll watch the movie.
Dope.
The book is dope. I haven't read Ready Player 2 yet, or it might not be out yet, but there is a sequel coming, or out. One of the two. We're doing really good at being the Nerd News show today.
Yeah.
Solid. Goldfinger,
yeah,
baby.
I am upset.
How do you feel about another, espionage action game? Is that the kind of game that you think that a James Bond should be?
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, that's when I watch the movie. That's just kind of, it's hard to imagine it any other way.
I guess it's weird for me because when I think of James Bond video games, I do think of GoldenEye, and I think of them as, multiplayer combat games, where you just shoot each other, unless you're that one short dude, and then you can't shoot him because it's impossible to hit him because you can't really aim up and down.
Yeah, see, for me, that's not how I would think of James Bond. I think that
it kills me that there is a generation of gamers, a real generation of gamers, those Fortnite gamers, Apex Legends gamers, who probably don't know what it was like to not be able to aim up and down in a shooting game. Who are like, what do you mean?
Tragedy.
Why would the height of the character matter for aiming? And you're like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
Oh, my sweet summer child. With your 2 different directional sticks.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we had 1 stick. It was in the middle of the controller. We don't know why.
Yeah, that was a choice.
When you look at if aliens came down to Earth, and the only evidence of humanity they found was the N64 controller, they would think that we have 3 hands. You know what I mean? They would look at it and be like, oh, this species clearly had 3 very small hands. And it's like, no, we had 2 hands, and you had to figure out how you were going to hold the controller depending on which game you were playing.
Oh, I hate that. That's one thing that I know I would not have been able to handle. When
you didn't notice at the time because it was either that or it was the weirdly oval Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
We didn't know better. We didn't know what ergonomics were.
When we had Guitar Hero, I loved Guitar Hero, and I crushed Guitar Hero on medium. But I couldn't play any songs on hard because I couldn't get over moving my hand 1 inch.
I crushed medium.
Oh, I did. Through Fire and the Flames, nailed it. But as soon as you added that 5th button in, my brain was I could not do it. So that controller would have messed me up. Would have definitely messed me up. I hate it.
Crushed medium.
Hey, I did. I probably still crush medium, okay? Don't at me. Wow, alright. I didn't realize it was that funny, but okay. What's so hard to believe about me playing Guitar Hero?
No. It's just the confidence with which you said that you crushed medium.
I did!
Yo, I crushed medium.
I was great, okay? It was fantastic.
Daygon says, or Broken Pirate says, I would say a Guitar Hero stream, but DMCA, yeah.
Yikes.
Also, Muddles40 in the chat said that he would use his nose to do the middle joystick, which I would love to see a video of that, Muddles. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, I need that in my life.
I'm still getting trolled by my chat about Goldfinger.
You're never gonna live that down. That's gonna become an alert. If Scanny has anything to say about it, that's gonna be like...
Goldfinger is a great movie. Go watch it. It's a little sexist. The Sean Connery Bond films are a little rough.
He's a little rough.
As far as yeah.
Yeah, David was trying to divert. He's like, you crushed Guitar Hero on medium, and I'm like,
Guitar Hero medium.
Oh,
okay. I was always terrible at Guitar Hero.
Really? Oh, I loved it.
But then the drums came out.
Hero.
Once the drums came out,
that's Rock Band. Actually, no, Guitar Hero did the same thing.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Alright.
And you could use the controllers for both games, but if you use the Guitar Hero drums for Rock Band, there was a slight delay and you had to play slightly after the beat.
Oh, I hate that.
Yep.
That would be a no from me.
Yep. That Goldfinger game, you'll crush it on medium, guys.
Yes, I will. Why do you think I've never turned up the difficulty on Skyrim? Until this playthrough, actually.
Now you're coming for yourself. Yeah. I love that you were like, I'm going to start a new Skyrim playthrough. It's going to be harder, and I'm not going to use potions.
Yeah, I literally was like, okay, I've never tried to play Skyrim on any higher difficulty than Adept. Let's turn up the difficulty and not use any potions. That sounds like a good idea.
Dark Dispatch says, play Guitar Hero on mute and have the viewers try to guess what song you're playing.
That's amazing.
So they have to guess the song just from the...
Yeah, 100%.
The movement of the thing.
100%. Or, like, you could sing the song with no backup track.
Sex Muxy wants a Goldfinger emote. Maybe I'll make that happen. Maybe I'll do C-3PO's hand.
Oh my god.
And that'll be the Goldfinger emote.
And it'll be like the actually, like...
Yeah. Or it'll be like a peace sign or the shocker. Can I do a shocker? Is that TOS?
You know, I don't know, actually.
I crushed Goldfinger. It hurt a lot. Drift to Normal, very funny. You guys are all the worst, and you can leave.
Awful. Yeah.
That's the end of the show. We are.
Bye.
Hi. We cut the show by 20 minutes today.
What else we got?
All right. Blizzard's Chris Kalecki, who spent 13 years at Blizzard before leaving, recently left working World of Warcraft, saying in a YouTube video posted to his personal channel that he was unhappy with the state of the modern game, which he describes as muddled. Kalecki's main argument centers around the lessening importance of guilds, as he believes that the focus has shifted to the story of the game's characters and the lore of the world, rather than the people who are actually playing it. To quote him, he says, "We focus a lot too much on the extrinsic rather than the intrinsic gameplay. I feel there's too much focus on these progression systems, and instead, I think we really should focus on the core features of the game, like the guild system." So he quit.
Wow.
And now won't be able to make any of that happen.
Yeah.
The reason I want to talk about this, because don't do it, Hero of Wind. Don't do it. The reason I wanted to talk about this is last night while we were playing Diablo 2, Tommy Tsunami and I, on his stream, we were talking about...
Sorry, Muddles is... yeah.
Yeah. I make one mistake and the entire show goes off the rails. Oh, thank you for subscribing again, Scary Daydream. Pour that coffee all over your dang self.
Nice X-Wing there, bud.
Yes. Oh my god. So last night we were talking about Diablo 2. And we're talking about how the game's old, but it's 20 years old and it still costs $25 to play. If you want to buy a new copy of Diablo 2, you have to pay. And so we were talking about that because Tommy Tsunami felt that was unfair, which I think is all right for me to say here. He was very public about it last night. And so when I'm thinking about this World of Warcraft situation, I'm wondering, like, at what point is a game old enough that we and you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I was gonna say like stop caring about stuff like this, but like people still care. People still play World of Warcraft. There's no reason for them to stop caring about stuff like this. Yeah. And it's kind of it's honestly it says a lot about the culture of World of Warcraft that the people working on it still care about stuff like this so many years in.
Yeah. So wait. So the point was that like the game is too old to pay for?
No. I was saying like my interest in this story is mostly about the fact that people around Blizzard seem to hold on to these games for a lot longer than other game studios and fans of these studios.
Interesting.
Like the fact that like, you know, we're still playing Diablo 2 and still you can still buy Diablo 2, but it is still $25 because there's clearly enough interest in it that Blizzard feels like that is the price that it should be at.
Yeah.
There is a employee of Blizzard who is leaving World of Warcraft after 13 years because he still cares so passionately about the ongoing life of this video game that has honestly, like, you know, it feels like it's run its course, but clearly it hasn't.
Yeah, it's super interesting because, like, if you leave, obviously, you know, you are not going to be able to accomplish those things that you want to accomplish. But, you know, if it gets to the point where you are leaving the company over it, I'm sure that it was, you know, it probably has been a barrier for years. You know, because that like I feel like leaving something that large, there needs to be generally there's a good reason for it. There's a big reason for it. I wonder. Here's the thing: neither of us play, and so I don't really
have ever played,
and
That's
so
fair.
I don't know how players feel about this. Like I don't know how they feel about what his vision is versus what Blizzard's vision is. And like what they are actually preferring in the game. So I'm not really sure what to think because if he is that person who's trying to listen to the consumer and give them what they want, then like you know I don't know, I kind of feel bad. That would suck to foster something that's that large, only to have you know the company say that. Like the direction you're trying to take it in is what they want to do with it. Like that's gotta be tough.
On the flip side of that, though, I think that for a game like World of Warcraft, now there is probably a very decent counter argument though of saying like no, what keeps people coming back year after year is not repeating guild stuff. It's expanding the lore, telling new stories. And like I think that there is something to be said for look at Grey's Anatomy, which we keep bringing up on the show because I love it so much. Grey's Anatomy is a huge series that kind of repeats a lot of its story beats.
Yeah.
And you're okay with it and you keep coming back to it because you care about the characters so much. And so I think that there is something to be said for like gameplay is important, but like you cannot change the gameplay too much. Like, you can't. Yeah. Once a game is 15 years old, you're not going to be like, and here's the new system of how this works. Well,
RuneScape did it.
But RuneScape put out, like, a new RuneScape. Wasn't it even called New RuneScape?
I mean, yeah. So, they didn't call it, like, I don't think they called it New RuneScape, but it was, like, RuneScape changed, and you could go back and play old RuneScape. But,
that's
like,
what it was,
yeah.
Yeah, I just think that like if you're gonna keep putting out the same game and it's going to be the same game and it's just expanding the same game, there is an argument to be said for like, well, the system works. Let's keep the system. Let's give them new characters to care about and let's make them let's expand the stories of the characters they already care about.
Yeah.
And if we make it character driven and we make it story driven, maybe and so like he might be right and he might be wrong. I think that World of Warcraft isn't going down right now.
No,
it's holding steady. It's not really expanding, but it's holding steady. And I think that there's it actually kind of is an interesting conversation, right? Like, why do people play video games? It kind of comes down to that. Do people play video games for gameplay, or do people play video games for the storytelling?
Which is totally different from person to person. You know, like, I enjoy a, like, riveting story and character, you know, in a game.
Which is why you play Skyrim.
Well, honestly, the quests in Skyrim I find very intriguing.
That's very... Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I was mostly making a joke about the fact that your character doesn't really have any personality in Skyrim.
Yeah. Like, my person, but here's the thing. I take that character and I give them that personality. I take the Night King.
Sure, but that is 100% on you.
That totally is on me.
Function of the game.
Totally is on me.
And like the decisions that you make in that way don't affect that game the way that they do other games.
Yeah, it's definitely not that like kind of like choose your own adventure thing, but that like a lot of the quests and the characters in the quests are really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know,
and some great voice acting.
Yeah, some great voice acting, and also, you know, because there's so many mods, like the possibilities in a way are kind of endless. Like, I downloaded a mod for the Inigo follower, who has been an absolute delight in my game. Like, honestly, people are like, he's the best follower, and I was like, okay, sure. And, you know, he's a really wonderfully written character. You know, I really enjoy having him there, and for me, like, that's a big part of playing a game. Like, Last of Us 2, it's not a game I ever could have played, but I wanted to watch you play it because the story I found so engaging.
Well, I was actually about to bring up Last of Us 2 as well, because what's interesting to me about Last of Us 2 is I did not really find anyone who complained about the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, the gameplay was not a complaint. Everyone was like, oh, I hate this game. And you're like, why? And they're like, the certain choices that they made. And I'm like, okay, well, how's the gameplay? It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's one of the most beautiful, well-made games of all time. But that one choice they made in the story... And it's interesting to me that, like, for those people, they were like, no, the gameplay's great, but this is a bad game because of the story choice. And so it does become a conversation of, like, what matters more? Yeah. Does the story matter more than the gameplay, or does the gameplay matter more than the story? And I think that, like this this developer's decision to leave this program, it is not. There's no right answer, right?
No, yeah.
He is in his worldview of what World of Warcraft should be. He's 100% right to feel this way.
Yeah.
The people who are still there, who are pushing Lauren's story, they're 100% right in the way that they feel. This is truly, unlike some things in the world that people say don't need to be facts. These don't need to be facts. These are opinions. This is subjective stuff, and I think that it is
for sure.
Honestly, when I brought this news story, I didn't really have I just thought it was interesting. I didn't have what we're going to talk about, but I do think that it is interesting to talk about. Like, video games exist so differently for different people.
Totally.
You can't have the same experience playing something as someone else, and that's kind of why I love the medium of video games as storytelling so much. Mm-hmm. It's why I really enjoyed Last of Us 2, because I felt like I was on a ride that was really, really wonderful, and the gameplay in Last of Us 2 is so solid. Like, it just, everything worked, everything felt right. Mm-hmm. It was such a beautiful gameplay experience that also challenged me emotionally, and that, like, I was upset with at times. And fair so enough. I really, I don't know. I really think it's such a weird subjective thing, video games.
For sure. 100%. And you know, it also, I think, changes on your mood. I've had games where I just want to, like, shoot things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I don't feel like investing right now. I'm just going to go, like, kill some stuff in a game, right? Like, or sometimes I really want that, like, immersive, thought-provoking experience. Yeah. And so I really don't think that there is a right answer by any means.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it is interesting to me that he left over it. You know, there's definitely, you know, there's got to be something there.
Because once you leave, you can't impact the future of it. So,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
He clearly felt, out. You know.
Maybe he was just like, man, I'm going to retire.
Also, 13 years of World of Warcraft, like.
It's a lot.
That was a shot directly at you, Scary Daydream.
Yeah.
Hero of Wind says, I just can't get into linear games with set scripts. I wish I could because the games look beautiful, but I don't like being told what my character thinks and feels. Yeah, I get that, Miller. I think that it's that it's just subjective, right? Like, I love that. I love when there's a story. I also love when there isn't. You know, I love Phasmophobia.
Yeah,
there's no story.
I mean, for me, those kind of games are more like a movie. You know, I'm not guessing what the character thinks or feels. It is definitely more cinematic for me, and I think that's why they focus on graphics in those kind of games, because, you know, it is more of like a theatrical experience in that sense. But I also do love games where your character makes all of those emotional decisions. You have like a bunch of different like dialogue options to choose from, and you can actually decide how your character thinks and feels.
Mass Effect was really fun for that.
Well,
you would like Mass Effect.
Yeah, I've been told that. I think I need to play this game. Yeah. But you know, there are theatrical games in that sense as well, that instead of this is the story and how the character thinks and feels, they do give you those options, which are really fun. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the thing, is that we have such a vast variety. You know, like, there's something out there for everybody. And Truly. It's something out there for what you're in the mood for, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Y'all, I think that's where we're going to call the main show today.
Yeah.
That ended up being a really interesting discussion at the end there.
Yeah, that was fun. We do have a trailer react. All right. We do have a trailer react that we're going to do right after we finish.
Stick around through the plugs and through the end of the recording of this show. Y'all, no one is streaming today on our channels yet, but stay tuned to our social medias because that might change. You don't know about that yet, but I'll let you know later.
Wait, we're streaming today?
I might be. We'll talk about it after the show. So stay tuned to social medias or the Discord if you're in there. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. Yeah. It means a lot to us. We haven't been doing it as much lately, but I did want to take a moment right now to to thank our Patreon subscribers.
Yeah.
You guys you make this show possible. We appreciate you so much. And the things we're doing over there are super fun. We are going to be watching a movie in 2 days on the Patreon with our Squires and above. That is going to be About Time. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a very fun night of movie watch along. And then last time we did the Patreon watch, we had a little hang sesh in the Discord.
We hung out afterwards. It was really nice.
So we're probably going to do that again. So if you are in the Patreon, please keep your eyes peeled for that. Anything else?
No, we've got our we have our 420 stream.
Yes, we're gonna get high on Sunday.
We
need to go buy those edibles.
Yeah, we do.
We should do that today.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
Legally buy edibles from the government.
Yeah.
We're in Canada. It's legal.
We're gonna be playing some community games. We're gonna be doing Jackbox, Among Us, those kind of things. So come hang out with us. It's gonna be super chill.
Yeah.
Or it might be really weird. I don't do edibles very often. So, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Y'all, as always, my name's David Webb.
I'm Ariel Edwards.
I didn't set this up to do this before we did that.
Do something nerdy tonight.
Bye.